Good morning from Cliffside Campground in Racine, Wisconsin.
We are back in Wisconsin.
We just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on our family and what we've been doing the past several months.
So after we spent the winter in Florida, we started our spring tour, which was a tour of African-American slavery sites and the Underground Railroad.
We made our way over to the New Orleans area and we basically made a huge circle.
Like a counterclockwise circle through the southern states, up the East Coast to northern New York, and then kind of down the Ohio River Valley and down the Mississippi to Memphis. So that was our spring loop.
We're really looking forward to sharing more about that in detail through a series that we're going to be working on editing and producing this summer, and we will release this fall. But until then, we wanted to share with you more about what our life has been like since the end of that trip.
So after that tour ended, we decided to head out west to New Mexico for a family graduation.
And we kind of used it as an excuse to have a family reunion. So my parents, my sister and her family, our family, and some friends all made it out to New Mexico to celebrate Emily.
Job. So we spent a week in Ruidoso, New Mexico. It's about 7,000 feet up in the mountains of southern New Mexico. So that was a great week there. Then we made our way back to the Midwest through Denver. We stopped in Denver and saw some friends, and then straight through the Midwest and back to Wisconsin.
Wouldn't you know that at the end of May, in our time through Denver, we hit a snowstorm. That was an experience. I don't think I've ever encountered snow so late in the year.
No, it was like 4 inches of snow in Denver overnight. This is the end of May, and we're thinking, all right, spring is here, summer's upon us, snow was gone, but no, we brought 4 inches of snow to Denver.
And actually, the snow was so heavy on the trees that a limb on a tree broke, fell on the back end of our car, and fortunately it was just cosmetic damage, but it did damage our car. So bizarre.
Yeah, little car damage in Denver.
And then we made our way to Iowa.
Yeah, we had scheduled to spend 2 nights in Council Bluffs area, just east of Omaha into Iowa. But because most of the campgrounds were closed, except the one we were at, other spots were filled. So we kind of got this makeshift RV spot that wasn't really an RV spot. And so we took one look at it and said, all right, we're not staying here 2 nights, just 1 night. Let's get some sleep and pull out early in the morning and make it back to Wisconsin. So that's what we did.
So after we left Iowa, we made our way back to Wisconsin for our Memorial Day Meat Fest.
Meat Fest.
With friends. We've been doing this gathering for, I think, around 15 years or so. And we were just really looking forward to it. It's going to be bigger and better than
every year, a little bigger.
We're pushing to get back for this, and we pushed the Yukon really hard, going through mountains, going through storms, trying to just get here to Wisconsin. And wouldn't you know, 60 miles away from our destination, the end of our trip around the United States over the past year, and our transmission fails.
Transmission blows up just south of Madison. We put 40,000 miles on the Yukon in the past year. We hit, what, 34 or 35 states.
Yeah.
We were everywhere, and the transmission blows up 60 miles short of our final destination in Wisconsin.
It was crazy, but we were so thankful for the help of a good Samaritan named Shannon, who stopped when she saw us pulled over on the side of the road and the hood up on the car.
The hood was up, we were pulled over on the highway. I don't know, she thought maybe they needed help.
But she turns out to be a fellow RVer and from the tiny little town just a mile south of where we were at. And she had parents who had a business there with a hookup, a pedestal for electric, and offered that we could stay there overnight. She knew the local mechanics and who we could get help from. And so with the help of Shannon and a good friend of hers, we were able to get over to her parents' excavation place. We had some issues while we were there. The car just, the reverse was completely out.
The truck lost reverse, so we got into this excavation parking lot where we were going to leave the RV overnight, but we couldn't go in reverse. And so Shannon called a friend or brother-in-law who's a firefighter, go firefighters, and he came over with his quarter-ton pickup and helped move the RV where it needed to move.
Right. We got the Yukon out on the street, out of the way.
We had to push it to get it where it needed to be because the transmission was out.
It was a little nuts, but we got the car out on the street, and Shannon, her friend, took off, and we thought, well, we're gonna hook up now. We can stay here overnight, deal with everything in the morning. And wouldn't you know that the electric would not work for us?
Yeah.
So our rig, for some reason, is very particular about GFI outlets, and it wouldn't work. So we ended up having to make a plan B.
Or this was like plan D or F maybe.
And against my better judgment, Joe talked me into
I kind of forced you into this.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because the transmission was shot and we couldn't go in reverse, we had to keep it pretty low, like 20 to 30 miles per hour, and keeping my eye on the transmission temperature gauge because it was getting up there. But we made the 60-mile trek. It took about 2 hours, and we finally got there like at 11:30 at night.
So we crashed in our friend's basement for the night, and then the next day it was kind of tackling the problem at hand. What do we do about our truck? So Joe made some phone calls, found out a local dealer that we could get it into later in the week because it was a holiday weekend.
Yep, it was Memorial Day weekend. It was Friday of a Memorial Day weekend.
But then the question was, what do we do with our RV? We had a few different options, but in the end, Joe decided it was best to rent a 3/4 ton truck.
Yeah, so we borrowed the Hagedorn's car to drive 60 miles back to Madison, where I rented from Enterprise Rent-A-Car, or Rent-A-Truck, a 3/4 ton pickup truck, got the RV, hitched it up, drove it back to the Hagedorns, and then the next day we had to drive the truck back to Madison and drop off the rental. So it was a bunch of back and forth, but you know, if this would have happened in the plains of North Dakota, or the mountains of Montana, or the desert of New Mexico, or the swamps of Louisiana, like there could have been so many worse places this could have happened. The fact that this broke down 60 miles short of our destination, where our friends were near, family was near, it all got worked out.
So once again, we have totally seen the Lord provide for our needs. We're just very thankful that that he's taking care of us. We were able to get the Yukon repaired over the next week without any cost to us, because a year ago, before we left initially on the trip, we had the transmission fixed.
The transmission was still under warranty?
Everything was under warranty, so we're just very, very grateful for God's provision and for our protection.
Trisha, what does the summer look like?
So the kids have a full lineup of camps this summer.
Multiple camps. In fact, right now, Hannah, our oldest, is at a Christian theater camp in Elgin, Illinois.
Yep, and they have Bible camp for a couple weeks this summer, and then towards the end of the summer, they're going to be doing some theater productions. So it is a full summer of fun and friends and kind of figuring out the next step post-summer.
And the kids are still finishing school because they're about halfway through their academic year. So we have a lot of catch up to do this summer.
So it all balances out. But anyway, we look forward to sharing our summer with you and updating you about what is to come as we figure it out. And just some great summer adventures here in the beautiful state of Wisconsin. We look forward to sharing more with you in the weeks to come, and we hope that you will stick with us. We love doing Life Deliberately with you. Thanks, friends. Where's Sarah?
I'm right here.
And kind of give you some direction moving forward.
Reminds me of my parents' place.
It does?